I've noticed that um, with other ways of advertising or other ways of putting ads out or whatever, there's not a ton of payout. But I know that the the money I spent with you guys through the coaching, the website, all of the help that you brought to the table, it's helped my company immensely, and I'd recommend it to anyone. I'd say around 5 times more. That's a pretty accurate number. Mine is Billy Lillard. The name of my company is Burnside Truck Service. Well, we work on diesel engines, mainly semi trucks, dump trucks, just bigger vehicles like that. We do everything from just regular oil changes all the way up to engine rebuilds or swapping engines. Sales have definitely gone up. It's on my side. It's when I look at sales, it's more like service. My services have gone up. We've gotten a lot more customers come in. We're able to serve more people and help them get their trucks repaired and get them back on the road. I've created a bigger customer base, a lot of return customers, and it's business has grown. It's been great. I've been able to take care of a lot of people. I mean, we get at least 2 or 3 calls every day. People passing through, they need roadside service, or they want to know if we can, squeeze them in if they come through with an AC problem or something like that. It was, maybe one a day in the beginning. A lot of starting out was word of mouth and me going door to door, just trying to find a customer base. But that's grown quite a bit to where I'm getting a lot more Google leads. So it's nice. It helps a lot. It's helped a lot. One of the checklists that I have is for my service writer at the front desk. Every time someone calls in or walks through the door, they have a different kind of a flow chart almost of what they go through with each one. They make sure they're not missing any of the steps. Also, with just from the point that a customer drops a truck off to the time they pick it up, we have a checklist that we go through as a shop, whether it's at the front desk with getting parts, with doing the diagnostics, getting the truck in, getting the truck out, doing the inspections, and then checking them out. There's checklists all along the way to make sure we're not skipping over anything. It brings consistency and efficiency. It helps a lot. And it helps me. It helps keep me accountable for one, because I've got so many things pulling at me. It's really easy to get off course. The things that we've talked about, the things we've went over, some of the things we've built upon. It's really easy to kind of lose your way without someone there, nudging you along and helping you, kind of reminding you of some of these things that need attention. And without those, I mean, I know that I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for my guy, keeping up with me every week and pushing me. Yeah, I need that. So, but yeah, the group interview, I kind of when you guys first kind of pitched it at me, I kind of poo-pooed a little bit. I was like, that's really not for me. I don't think that's going to work. But what really changed it for me was I'm lucky enough to be near where you're at, and I came and watched you do your group interview that you do every week, and it really inspired me and opened up my eyes to, man, that's so efficient. That saves so much time, and I started implementing it myself, and it does. I mean, week in and week out, instead of spending 20-30 minutes per person, you kind of bunch it all together, and you really weed out the people that aren't really going to show up anyway. So it's been great. Well, I mean, it's all planned out. I mean, you have a set time that you meet each week, and that helps to where you can kind of plan your week around when that meeting is. And you guys are super flexible. I can make it work with a good day or a bad day at work, whether it's things go swimmingly or if it's a rough day. Either way, I can make the meeting time work. But the scope of what you guys offer as well is pretty. You have a big variety of what you guys do, whether it's marketing or just ideas on how to do things better. Brochures. There's lots of. I mean, I can't think on the spot of all the things, but you guys have a lot that you bring to the table, and and it's a great value to my company for sure.
All right, folks, on today's show, I want to celebrate a member of the Thrive Nation who had decided to reach out to us, and he's getting more leads. He's generating more leads. His business is growing as a result of what? Deciding to take action. It's all about, not just learning what to do, but actually taking action. And I hope that he encourages somebody out there that if you feel stuck or you feel like your business is struggling to generate leads, that you too can grow your business. His web address is burnsidetruckservice.com, burnsidetruckservice.com. With that being said, Billy, welcome on to the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Clay.
So, Billy, for anybody out there that wants to verify you're not a hologram, what is your first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
Mine is Billy Lillard. The name of my company is Burnside Truck Service. We operate out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And so what kind of services or solutions do you provide to the marketplace?
Well, we work on diesel engines, mainly semi trucks, dump trucks, just bigger vehicles like that. We do everything from just regular oil changes all the way up to engine rebuilds or swapping engines.
How long have you been in the vehicle repair industry?
I started out as a truck driver about 20 years ago and got my own truck and kind of worked on my own truck for a while. But as a shop, we've been open about almost 2 years, about a year and a half, 2 years.
And how did you first hear about our organization?
What's that?
How did you first hear about us?
The very first time I heard you was actually on the radio. I listened to you. I listened to your podcast. I listened to a couple of shows, and then a friend of mine actually he referred me back to you. This was years later, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember Clay, and I kind of gravitated towards you and reached out to you guys to see if you could help me out.
What I wanted to do on today's show was to celebrate 5 specific wins. And when I say wins, these are things that you're doing that are producing fruit in the business. And I encourage everyone, again, check out that website, burnsidetruckservice.com, burnsidetruckservice.com. First win is, according to my calculations, your revenue is up. And that doesn't mean that all the problems are solved, but according to my calculations, it appears as though revenue is up. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. Could you maybe share from your perspective, have sales gone up, or how would you explain the sales going up or not going up?
No, the sales have definitely gone up. It's on my side. It's when I look at sales, it's more like service. My services have gone up. We've gotten a lot more customers come in. We're able to serve more people and help them get their trucks repaired and get them back on the road. I've created a bigger customer base, a lot of return customers, and business has grown. It's been great. I've been able to take care of a lot of people.
Now, I've got some notes here, and again, I'm not trying to paint you in a corner. I'm just trying to clarify. I think we've gone from about 2 to 5 leads a week from Google when we started to maybe we're getting 10 to 15 a week. Is that accurate? Going from maybe 2 to 5 leads a week to 10 to 15. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, we're getting a lot more Google leads now, for sure. I mean, just about everybody when we get call-ins or even people who just show up, we always ask them, how they heard about us and what made them reach out to us, and it's almost always a Google search that led them to us.
Now, I've got numbers in front of me, Billy, so I just wanted to verify this with you because some of our wonderful listeners out there, their businesses are stuck. I'm showing right now you've gone from, I believe, 2 to 5 leads a week coming in to now where you're going to 10 to 15 leads a week. And so from my math, it looks like your leads might be up 5, maybe even as high as 7 times more leads. How would you describe how much your leads have gone up there, sir?
That's about accurate. I mean, we get at least 2 or 3 calls every day. People passing through, they need roadside service, or they want to know if we can, squeeze them in if they come through with an AC problem or something like that. It was, maybe 1 a day in the beginning. A lot of starting out was word of mouth and me going door to door, just trying to find a customer base, but that's grown quite a bit to where I'm getting a lot more Google leads. So it's nice. It helps a lot.
For the guy out there that wants to quantify that, would you say your leads are up 5 times more or 7 times more? Or what would be the number you might put on it?
I'd say around 5 times more. That's a pretty accurate number.
Now, once you have leads coming into your business, that's not the only thing that we have to do. I mean, step number one is generating more leads. And how do we do that? You and I and our team, we've been working nonstop on optimizing the website, making the website look the best it can possibly be. I'll pull up the website there, folks. Again, and as a coaching client, we do the website, we do the print pieces, we do the branding, we help you optimize your website, get to the top of Google. That's step one. Now, step number two, though, is you have to actually fulfill. I always tell people in business, you have offense, defense, and special teams. Offense is generating leads. That's the fun part, marketing, branding, actually generating customers. But the next part is special teams. It's where your special team has to actually deliver on the promises that you make or the solutions that you provide. You actually have to maintain the vehicles. Can we talk about that for a second? Because as you're beginning to put in checklists and systems in place, talk to the listeners out there about some of the progress that you're beginning to make using checklists and systems.
It's helped a lot. One of the checklists that I have is for our service writer at the front desk. Every time someone calls in or walks through the door, they have a different kind of a flow chart almost of what they go through with each one. They make sure they're not missing any of the steps. Also with just from the point that a customer drops a truck off to the time they pick it up, we have a checklist that we go through as a shop, whether it's at the front desk with getting parts, with doing the diagnostics, getting the truck in, getting the truck out, doing the inspections, and then checking them out. There's checklists all along the way to make sure we're not skipping over anything. It brings consistency and efficiency. It helps a lot.
I want to talk about this for a moment there. Your niche, and there's somebody out there that doesn't maybe know their niche. When we did our first initial 13-point assessment, I remember it like it was yesterday. You rattled off the kinds of vehicles that you repair and the kinds of vehicles that you don't repair. Now, could you repair every vehicle? Probably, but you have a certain niche. Talk to the listeners out there a little bit about knowing your niche and really becoming more and more focused on that niche.
For me, I'll kind of give an example. Like ours are mainly heavy duty engines, heavy duty semi trucks. Most people know the big ones. Peterbilt, Kenworth, Freightliner. Those are the big semi truck makers, and we kind of specialize in that stuff. So by focusing on those in my niche, I can focus on the software needed to work on those, the tools needed to work on those. Where if I start working on mid-size Fords or Dodges, that kind of the medium-duty trucks, it's completely different software and it's different tools. And if you spread yourself too thin, you're not going to do quite as good. Maybe in the long run, maybe we could eventually get there, but especially starting out, being able to focus on one specific area, it helps a lot.
Now, I have a wonderful accounting company that I utilize. I hire them. I make a 0% commission to recommend them, by the way, folks, but it's called CCK Accounting. And people say, Clay, why do you consistently meet with your accounting firm on an ongoing basis? Like, what is the purpose of having a recurring meeting with the same people to look at the same things every week? Like, what is the purpose of that? And I tell people it's because it's a proactive approach to accounting. Somebody says, well, who do you use for legal work? They always say, well, who do you use for legal work? I say, I use wintersking.com. And by the way, I make 0% commission to recommend wintersking.com. And people say, well, why do you meet with them on an ongoing, recurring basis? I tell them because it's proactive. It's like a garden. You want to pull the weeds before they emerge. I would argue the same is true with business consulting or business coaching. Having a weekly meeting where we're tracking the numbers every week, Billy, and although it is redundant, although it is repetitive, although what's happening is I'm seeing your business from a distance. I'm seeing you get 2% better every week. I'm seeing you get 2% better every week. And because I've been doing this 21 years, I'm seeing where you're going. I'm seeing where you're growing. Could you talk about the value of having a weekly meeting with somebody or a team that actually cares about growing your company?
Yeah, it helps me. It helps keep me accountable for one, because I've got so many things pulling at me. It's really easy to get off course. The things that we've talked about, the things we've went over, some of the things we've built upon. it's really easy to kind of lose your way without someone there, say, nudging you along and helping you, kind of reminding you of some of these things that need to be that need attention. And without those, I mean, I know that I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for my guy, keeping up with me every week and pushing me. Yeah, I need that. So.
And we get excited about your growth. And again, we call that, there's three parts of business. I want everyone to really, if you're watching today's show, take notes. You got marketing or offense. And we call it offense. What is offense? It's marketing, it's branding, it's sales, it's generating more leads. That's the fun part, right? Then there's special teams. That's where we have to deliver the actual product to the customer. And then there's defense. And that's looking at your numbers. That's making sure that you're not drifting. That's making sure that we're not dying via invoice. That's making sure we're staying on top of accounts receivable, that all of our customers are paying us. Could you talk about that for a second? The whole defense of looking at your numbers and making sure that you're consistently bringing in money. Because I know you're a good guy, and I know when you're dealing with big diesels and big companies, by default, this industry has a way of drifting, where great guys like you might deliver a great service, and then you might not get paid for it, or you might get paid for it slow pay, or you might get paid no pay. Can you talk about having somebody who's on your team and who cares about you actually getting paid?
Yeah, a lot of that, it was kind of a learning curve on what to do and what not to do as a new business. Like talking about doing work and not getting paid for a while. They have net 15 and net 30 accounts with a lot of people who that's what they want right out the bat is, hey, I want a net 30 account. So you do the work and you may not get paid for a month for that work. And floating that kind of debt can really hurt. In the beginning, it's hard to do that as a small business. So making sure that you're on top of those numbers matters a lot, because you may not see those payouts for a while, and you don't want to put the business in a precarious situation, by doing that too much. So yeah.
Now, one of the things that we really push our great clients to do, and you're doing it, is having ongoing team meetings where you're making sure that your team isn't drifting, that your team is actually doing the daily tasks they need to do. Could you talk about the importance of having team meetings with your team on a consistent basis?
I think it shows them that you want to hear them out. I mean, when we have our meetings, it's not just hey, you guys are doing this wrong or you're doing that wrong. You need to do this better. It's not just about. I mean, that's part of it, but it's also, I hear them out. What can we do better at in the shop? What can we do better in the office? What are some ways that you guys think we could do things more efficiently? And I believe that everybody there has a unique perspective and something they can bring to the table to help the company succeed. I believe that a rising tide lifts all boats, and that goes for not just me and my company, but everyone there. And I think getting everybody on board with that sort of mindset matters a lot.
Now, I've got three final questions for you, but I encourage everyone to check out that website. Check out that website. It's burnsidetruckservice.com, burnsidetruckservice.com. Again, it's celebrating the early wins here as we're growing the business. The group interview. I hear so many people, doctors, dentists, lawyers, automotive repair shops, anybody who has a specialty. So I'm involved in a wood flooring company. I'm involved in a haircut chain. And by the way, 99 out of 100 people cannot install a wood floor. By the way, 99 people out of 100 cannot cut hair. Or maybe it's even less than that. Maybe 1 out of 1,000 people can cut hair or are licensed to do so. Maybe 1 out of 1,000 people can put in a wood floor. Just like with automotive repair. I mean, one could argue it's maybe 1 in 10,000. So we have to hire licensed professionals. You have to hire them. I have to. Most of my clients, or many of my clients, have to hire licensed professionals, the doctors, the dentists, the lawyers, the manufacturers I work with, the automotive repair shops. But the group interview is so important. Every week you want to schedule a set time where you interview all applicants at the same time every week. Therefore, you're not wasting your time booking one-on-one interviews with people that don't show up to the interview. I'm going to put this on the screen so our listeners can see this, because I don't want anyone to think that I'm being negative. I want everyone to know that I'm being very factual. According to Inc. magazine, 85% of employees lie on resumes. They simply just make up information on the resumes that are not true. Their resumes are a piece of fiction. And you might say, that's crazy. Now, according to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 75% of employees are now stealing from the workplace. And you say, no, they're not. And I say, Yes, they are. So I want to go back to you on this, Billy. How has implementing the group interview impacted your company?
It's been great, but I got to go back and just kind of comment on the stat you gave. Uh, with not very many people be able to install a floor or cut hair, I must have hit a home run with my wife because she can do both amazingly. So
Amen. Amen.
I throw that out there. She's great. But yeah, the group interview, I kind of when you guys first kind of pitched it at me, I kind of poo pooed a little bit. I was like, that's really not for me. I don't think that's going to work. But what really changed it for me was I'm lucky enough to be near where you're at, and I came and watched you do your group interview that you do every week, and it really inspired me and opened up my eyes to, man, that's so efficient. That saves so much time, and I started implementing it myself, and it does. I mean, week in and week out, instead of spending 20-30 minutes per person, you kind of bunch it all together, and you really weed out the people that aren't really going to show up anyway. So it's been great.
Now, final two questions I have here for you. For somebody out there that's thinking about going to thrivetimeshow.com, we've been doing this now for 21 years. And I always tell people, if you hire us for $1,700 a month, what you're going to find is very, very quickly, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com and you click on testimonials, you're going to find very quickly that the clients we work with are bringing in a lot more than $1,700 a month. They're paying $1,700 a month, but they're bringing in a lot more than that. We call that return on investment. And so I talked to one of my clients today. He's a dentist, and he said, "Hey, listen, for every $1,700 I pay you, I generate about 8 times more in profit." I don't know if that number is true for you. I have some landscapers I work with. I talked to one today. He told me it's roughly a 5x return. So for every $1,700 he pays us, he generates 5 times more in terms of a return on investment. How would you describe the return on investment of having a business coach who's fully invested in helping you grow your company?
I wish I was better at crunching numbers. Those guys can come up with those numbers. I'm not sure how to quantify it, honestly, but I've noticed that um, with other ways of advertising or other ways of putting ads out or whatever, there's not a ton of payout. But I know that the money I spent with you guys through the coaching, the website, all of the help that you brought to the table, it's helped my company immensely, and I'd recommend it to anyone.
And then final question I have here for you. What do you say to somebody who goes, "What's the weekly meeting like?" When you're meeting with someone weekly, or maybe you could, because as a coaching client, you have a weekly meeting with us, and then we have, you have access to our conferences that we do once a quarter. And then you also have access to a team, photography, video, web, search engine guys to help you maybe work a trade show booth and basically it's a one price. And then you have a whole team helping you. But how would you describe the nature of the coaching program, or having access to the team, or maybe those weekly meetings?
Well, I mean, it's all planned out. I mean, you have a set time that you meet each week, and that helps to where you can kind of plan your week around when that meeting is. I can make it work with a good day or a bad day at work. Whether it's things go swimmingly or if it's a rough day. Either way, I can make the meeting time work. But the scope of what you guys offer as well is pretty. You have a big variety of what you guys do, whether it's marketing or just ideas on how to do things better, brochures. There's lots of. I mean, I can't think on the spot of all the things, but you guys have a lot that you bring to the table, and it's a great value to my company for sure.
Well, Billy, I appreciate you hopping on today's show. I hope you've encouraged somebody out there. And for anybody out there, if you want to help Billy and his company, one thing you can do is you can go to burnsidetruckservice.com and share that link on your social media, because every time that someone visits your website, it does make your website rank higher, which is going to produce fruit and more inbound leads for you and your wonderful family. Billy, thank you for carving out time for us today. I really do appreciate you. I did not know your wife could cut hair and install flooring. Tell us more about that as kind of a bonus question. Is your wife a hairstylist, or what does your wife do?
She is. She has a salon here in Tulsa. It's Modest Salon. It's over on Brookside, and we renovate houses too. So we kind of got into that together. And she can lay tile and do floors with the best of them. She's great.
I had no idea. You might have the most talented wife in the world. Hey, thank you so much for
I
your
think
time,
so.
your energy, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.
All righty. Thanks, Clay.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Thomas Crossan, owner and founder of Full Package Media in Dallas, Texas. I've been a coaching client with Clay Clark since the beginning of our business. We started about a year ago, August of last year. I had no clients, no idea what we were doing, no clue really what was going on. And now we've grown to where we've got 6 photographers, we've got office space here. I have an admin, sales person that works for us full time. Developing an online system, and a lot of that growth we attribute to Clay helping us. And there's so many things that, his stuff is not revolutionary. It's not this crazy walk on hot coals and all this stuff. It's just real stuff. And like group interviews, we were totally against group interviews. We were like, no, we're different and we're special, and we need to do one-on-one interviews so we can find good quality candidates and not just kind of do this group interview thing. And we tried that and failed miserably. We did group interviews. Now we do them every 2 weeks, and it's awesome. It works good. We always have kind of influx of new people that we can train, get going. He's helped us a lot with our website, graphic design, SEO. SEO is another thing that I thought before I started this business and before Clay that it was kind of a joke, or something that only your Apples of the world and Amazon could get to the top of Google. But Clay said, no, just do these things, follow these steps, and you'll get there. And I think now we look today, and we're number 2 for Dallas real estate photography. If you don't believe me, you can look. So we're getting to the top of there. That's really cool. It's really awesome to get leads that people will call you and say, hey, I found you on Google. We want to hear about your services. So that's really great. I'd say there's nobody out there that's not a good coaching client for Clay. Anyone, regardless of the business. It's not about what the business is, what the specialty is. It's about following the steps, doing what he says. It's a good thing. An hour a week, it gets you on track and keeps you kind of in line of what you're doing and what you shouldn't be doing. And it's good to kind of give you some flow and future goals of your business. And I remember our first meeting, we set our goals, and our goal was to do 16 shoots a week. And at the time, me and my business partner / girlfriend Gretchen were like, oh, we're never going to do 16 a week. That's just like crazy. And today we're doing 9, and we did about 54 last week. So he's helped us grow. We've put in a lot of hours, a lot of hard work as well. But if you follow his steps and do what he says, there's a lot of principles that he's kind of taught and instilled in us that help us. So Clay Clark, he's the way to go. I wouldn't venture out to find someone else. They'd be more expensive and a lot more fluff and no real actionable work and things to get your business growing. So that's the way to go. Thanks.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him. Character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. So he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is. He is.
He has this wealth of knowledge. He's worked with so many different companies and different businesses. He could take a concept that he's used before in the past with somebody totally different industry and see how it would work perfectly for you in whatever niche market you're in or whatever type of service you're providing. And so his brain is just a wealth of knowledge, and just to have that type of perspective on, as a part of your team and your own company is huge, super valuable. So I would definitely encourage people to use him. But one thing is, you got to be coachable. You got to be wanting to get feedback. You got to be wanting to really grow your company. You got to want to put that extra 10 hours a week to working on your business and not just in your business. And so, yes, I would recommend it to anybody who's wanting to grow their company and provide great systems, checklists, workflows, great encouragement, and have accountability.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us. And it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, This is probably the best thing that's happened to us, and I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads, going from 10 a month to 180 a month. That would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships, but one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things. The processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects, you know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you, so congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodward Finishing, business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be, when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous. Just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach, you know what I mean? And so My coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever was important. My rich dad was one of those persons. I wanted to learn how to play Monopoly in real life. So he was my coach.
I always wish that I had this, and because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.